I am Sean Costigan, Director of the Lower Manhattan Project at the New School. Today we're talking with Mike Moon from the U.S. Army War College. Mike, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your work?
Yeah, I'm Colonel Mike Moon, Army engineer, 26 years, currently on faculty at the United States Army War College, teaching in the Department of National Security and Strategy, and I focus on energy and environmental issues.
Great. Well, question that we've been asking today, it's on everyone's mind. It's the prevailing wisdom asserts that we're in a global economic crisis and that we're undergoing a radical shift, at least with regard to the economy. Governments have been positioned to take a controlling interest in numerous firms, and the regulation of financial markets is now the focus. Do you foresee this having a long-term effect on energy and the environment?
When you look at the global economy, first of all, it is driven by energy. There's a symbiotic relationship. As there is a change in one, there's necessarily a change in the other, for good or ill, whether it's inflationary or deflationary. As supply drops in various industries and businesses, and you have reductions in energy consumption or energy demand, that has a very big effect on oil-producing countries. So in some sense, there is a deflationary type spiral in those countries as their main revenue decreases in how they deal with their people. That puts strains there. It's all interrelated. Obviously, as the price of energy goes up, goods are more costly, transportation is more costly. That then also affects the whole marketplace. It's very symbiotic. I often tell people that energy is the global economy. There isn't one product, there isn't one service that doesn't rely on energy in some form or fashion. They're intertwined, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, I see that. With regards to energy and the environment, are there problems that governments do not yet recognize that could also become burdens at some point in the future?
The two biggest burdens, number one, is there is obviously something going on in the environment, whether you call it climate change or global warming. There are changes that are occurring that most reputable scientists have come together to say, based on the evidence, we believe a big contribution to this issue is man-made in terms of greenhouse gas and CO2 emissions. That is huge because the scope and scale of infrastructure and energy infrastructure is so great. This is not something that we can fix quickly. Absolutely huge. The other part that is very interesting is the current status of infrastructure in the energy sector. And by energy, I mean both electricity and oil. Most people just have no appreciation of how big a power plant is, or an oil refinery, how much it costs to operate, maintain, the chemicals, what we call perishables in the way of filters, things like that, and the capital expenses and capital requirements to improve it or to build new ones. They don't understand that a new refinery may take 3 to 6 years to build and may cost upwards of $7 to $8, $9, $10 billion. So the scope and scale people don't understand. Those two big issues are really going to have a huge impact over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years if we don't make the right capital improvements.
So the infrastructure side. Question two that always comes to mind is if you could do one thing now with respect to an uncertain future of energy, the environment, and economics, what would it be?
A couple things. First of all, the United States obviously is a leader and has to be a leader. We have the wherewithal. We have the leadership. It's a matter of gaining the political will to back up the leadership to make some hard decisions. But one of the things we have to do internally is look at our whole system. We have to relook our subsidies and that whole structure, our regulations. We've got to relook our tax laws, essentially, of how we go about incentivizing or disincentivizing various alternatives to diversify electricity sources or fuel sources. And that is probably the biggest issue, is the commercial and financial framework around the industry.
That's great. Okay, thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks very much.